The death of Julius Caesar didn't bring the peace and freedom the assassins had hoped for. Instead, it triggered nearly 15 years of chaos, civil war, and the eventual end of the Roman Republic. This is what happened to the people of Rome. Imagine you're waking up in Rome on March 16th, the day after the murder. The sun is coming up, but something is wrong. Usually, Rome is the loudest city on earth, but that morning, it was dead silent. When the news hit that Caesar had been butchered in the theater of Pompey, the city didn't erupt in cheers for liberty. It went into a collective panic attack. People didn't know if a full-blown civil war had started or if the assassins were going to purge the whole city. Thousands of families literally shoved their furniture against their doors and waited with kitchen knives, just hoping no one would knock. The liberators, Brutus, Cassius, and the rest, were standing on the Capitoline Hill, probably looking at each other and wondering why no one was throwing them a parade. They thought they were the main characters in a grand play about freedom. To the average Roman, they were just the guys who started a riot. This is where the story gets incredibly human and incredibly messy. Everything changed at the funeral. Mark Antony, Caesar's best friend and a massive party animal who knew exactly how to work a crowd, stepped up to the podium. He didn't just give a speech, he gave a performance. He showed the crowd Caesar's toga, the one they knew well, and it was shredded and soaked in blood. But the final blow wasn't a dagger, it was Caesar's will. Imagine you're a poor Roman citizen living in a cramped, dangerous apartment. You find out that in his will, Caesar gave 75 drachmae to every single person in the city. That's roughly 3 months' wages. On top of that, he gave his massive private gardens to the public. The crowd went from, "What's going to happen to us?" to, "They killed our father." The grief turned into a literal firestorm. The mob started ripping apart the forum, grabbing benches, tables, and shop stalls to build a massive funeral pyre right there in the street. And then they took the burning torches from that fire and marched on the assassins' houses. One innocent guy, a poet named Cinna, was literally torn apart in the street just because he had the same name as one of the conspirators. The liberators realized they had a choice: stay and be lynched or run. They ran. Now, for the next few years, Rome became a horror movie for the upper class. Caesar's 18-year-old great-nephew, Octavian, showed up to claim his inheritance. He teamed up with Mark Antony, but they needed money to chase down the assassins. Their solution was something called the prescriptions. Think of this like a government-sanctioned hit list. They nailed these lists on the walls of the forum. If your name was on it, you were an outlaw. Anyone could kill you, bring your head to the authorities, and get a huge reward. This tore the social fabric of Rome apart. You couldn't trust your neighbor, your business partner, or even your own family. There are stories of sons hiding their fathers in the rafters of their houses while soldiers searched the rooms below. The most famous name on that list was Cicero, the greatest speaker in Roman history. He tried to flee, but he was caught in his litter. They cut off his head and his hands and nailed them to the speaker's platform in the city center. It was a brutal, physical way of saying, "The Republic is over. Your voice doesn't matter anymore." By the time the assassins were finally defeated at the Battle of Philippi in 42 BC, the Roman people were just done. For 15 years, they had watched their currency collapse, their brothers die in civil wars, and their leaders execute each other. They were traumatized. When Octavian eventually defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra years later, he didn't call himself a king. He was too smart for that. That's what got Caesar killed. Instead, he called himself Princeps, or First Citizen. He promised one thing: the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. He told the people, "Give me all your political power, and in exchange, I'll make sure you have bread, games, and no more civil wars." And the people of Rome, they took that deal in a heartbeat. They were so tired of the freedom to kill each other that they welcomed a dictator with open arms. The irony of Caesar's death is one of the biggest oops moments in history. The assassins killed a man to save the Republic, but their daggers are exactly what finished it off. They wanted to go back to the good old days, but they ended up creating a world of emperors. The people of Rome didn't want a hero, they wanted a home, and they were willing to give up their liberty to get it. If you like more stories like this,
Click that subscribe button and turn on your notification.